today we're going to look at the supply chain concept. We're going to be covering supply chain officially on a book. I'm reading a book called... I'm just reading any books that I can find because I have a budgetary concern. So I'm just looking at any free ebooks I can find, no matter how old they are, right? No, seriously, I can't really go to school right now. So the books are cost around anywhere between $50 $300 per quarter. Pretty expensive price gouging, in my opinion, right? I'm like, yeah, maybe other people can criticize me. I haven't heard any comments responding. I love negative attention, right? Anyone can give me some. And involve feedback. And not the your hair is you can criticize my hair, that's fine, but like I want, you know, something that actually moves the dial and not be a passive aggressive comment about me being a dick, right? I need some variety here. I need like legitimate guidance and not, because that's not, so put yourself in my shoes. If people tell you, well, your hair sucks, right? Or you have chopped hair, do you really feel like that's a helpful comment? I don't even, I can deal with people that hate me or want to punch me, but they should have helpful advice, right? That's not helpful advice. Right? Telling people who are the most dressed individuals to have good hair hygiene, that's not, if you're going to say that, please add something more. Because that's worth defriending, right? I'm not trying to be that guy. Right, and I hear that a lot from like family members and stuff, or personal friends. I don't know. That's not how you should address people in a conversation, right? If you don't like people, just say something. Dude. Right, that's the humane thing to do. That tells you more about who that person is. And they keep accusing you of something else when you feel like they're trying to address some other topic. You know, just passive aggressive. It's not a productive way of talking to people. That's how economies freeze. Right? Because if you want people to do stuff, you need to have a dialogue with people. And people need to come together, right? But you all voted for Obama, you can't be seriously... And then when I hear people criticisms like that, I'm not really surprised Trump got into office. Because Obama is not that kind of guy, right? He's like two aspects of society. Obama is the uniter, and Trump, this is called division, right? Criticizing someone, that's fighting. Right, that's the aspect of how people could like Donald. If you angle the person, that kind of passive aggressiveness to the right. I much prefer the diversion and inclusivity as an SJW. Yeah, I don't know if it'll get fixed. It's just one of my gripes I have with people, of course. Anyways, just an opinion. Don't take it seriously. So, anyways, we're looking at a supply chain. This consists of warehouses, retailers, and consumers. Right. So you're performing. And of course, you're trying to procure material, transformation into intermediate and finished products, right? So why am I talking about this type of stuff? Well, I want to talk about how warehouse. So there's a posted article the other day, right? And I wrote it on my Google Sites, and it was about Amazon working together with the Seahawks, right? Right, and I want to add more details, right? There's a lot of description terms I want to look for supply chain, which I cannot discover right now. Yeah, I'm going to go check out what this is. I'm doing a freelancing podcast. I have no idea if anybody. This just seems funny. Right, side gigs, blog, advertising blog. I just want to let you know, this is not. I'm not trying to enforce anything. Here to be peaceful, right? Just like the people who voted, the peaceniks who voted for Obama, right? So let's say, I think Amazon has the potential to start their own business with the Seahawks, right? They market both their Costco, Amazon Prime membership deals by selling popcorn, right? I'm open to that kind of deal. Right, and so why talk about it? So I want to learn more about cycle inventory, safety, and seasonal. Right? And you don't really know how to use these kinds of terms unless you know how to talk about the exact definition of what supply chain is, right? So I can make it easier to explain to people. Right? The procurement of materials, right? You got to learn how to procure materials, right? And you got to learn how to transform them. So I want to go into more details of what kind of layout we got for, in worst case scenario, right? If Amazon wants to start over, because every large company will collapse someday. Right? They all collapse. It doesn't matter how big or small they are. They all get reduced to nothing in the end, right? Right? All empires get crushed by nepotism in politics, right? Right? And so what do? Well, you got to have a specialized warehouse layout. But what type of warehouse would you want? Worst case scenario, right? Especially if a large company collapses, customers are just not going to go take a chance on the small business. Life, it never works like that. I'll tell you what happens in a hypothetical scenario in case Amazon collapses, which is not going to happen anytime soon. But it could, right? We got to think about this. You do, even if it's unlikely, right? You've still got to think about this, right? So you would want a warehouse layout like that. So look at a retail store, or I guess look at this mall. I'm trying to find a better term because I'm awkward. But do this as an example. But this mall has a pretty good warehouse layout. Now it's more destructive, right? Because imagine doing processing warehouse stuff on one end of the mall, right, and then having the other end be a food stand. It's like having a fire and ice island with like Ever seen the Mortis Island arc in Star Wars where there's like one aisle has the Sith, which is like where all the warehouse workers go, and that light. I don't know what her name is. The daughter. She's got like all these light islands on her, and that's where the stores are. It's just it's not eerie. It does encourage you to buy, but it's kind of awkward to describe it like that. Yeah, it's just awkward to describe it that way because that's the best way to describe that layout. Because it's smog, right? When you're trying to process packages in, there's a lot of smog and fireworks. Is that the right term? It's like smog. Now you gotta take some risk, right? Now, OSHA has to come in at some point, right? They may have to turn a blind eye the first couple months. You definitely need safety gear, don't get me wrong. Don't want them to die out. But we live in the 21st century. We can definitely get some clean, pollutant technology. I guess I would take the chance on it without if we didn't live in the 21st. But we have the funds. Right? We gotta know how to do that. So I talk about this because you need to restructure on nothing someday. You want to make nothing and make money because people aren't always going to have like 50 grand in the bank to start a business. It actually costs around 500K. Did you know it costs around 500 grand to start any small business of any scale? It actually does not cost $5,000 on average. There's just a lot of lies being told right now. So here's what I did to figure this data out. I took an average of all the spam calls I got for business loans, and I took the average of it. I got somewhere around 100 to 500 grand. My guess is it actually takes 100 to 500 grand. Because business loans always come in the form of, right? Now, I could be wrong. My guess is, and I suspect, a lot of these spam calls, right, whether it be a Nigerian prince that washed up on some random Galapagos island somewhere, are all legitimate offers of how much it succeeds to start a successful business. They're sales pitches. That's my suspicion. So it has to be an average of 100 to 500 grand. Yeah. This is kind of a so what's we have to go to the Alexander the Great supply chain logistics strategy, right? This is what I call it anyways. Right, you gotta not risk putting your army or your employees in a situation where they can be crippled or destroyed by a lack of funds, right? And a lack of provisions. You gotta play this game, right? Do you think being a CEO of any major company is safe? There's nothing safe about being the CEO of any company. It's like it's like getting an AK-40. It's like standing up and getting shot by venture capitalists with AK-47s. No, if you get hired by a CEO, you're not in any remote danger. You just speculate about the fear. Elon Musk looks scary. That's not a legitimate fear. That's just you. Yeah, I'm sure there's some basis to it. Don't get me wrong, but it's not rational, you know. Oh, Jeff Bezos, Lex Luthor. See, this is why I don't like memes, because they just personify the anxiety that you feel about an individual. And then they magnify it by like 50 to 100 times. That's all they do. They don't really, they're not a reflection of reality. It's just funny. I was kind of hoping, like, when I started these vids, right? I don't know yet. I'm hoping society's rational enough to recognize that. Right? They just understand that people feel something about a person, and they're not like taking it personally, right? They actually personally believe that meme. Right? Don't let your memes be dreams. It's a form of irony for a reason. It's supposed to be a dream for a reason. You're supposed to use the memes to help you market and then use that money to pursue legitimate change. That's the whole point of memes. It's not, right? You're not supposed to, like, actually believe it. Help people. You don't, otherwise, how does anything in the economy function? You can't, right? You need to talk. It doesn't matter how much you like or dislike a person, right? You just can't. It doesn't matter how small, whether it's a family or an economy. You can't maneuver like that, right? Stock keeping unit. So, anyways, I would look at. I would like to look at my job lot storage, right? I would like to look at all three processes. I get a little warehouse layout plan up together. I'd seriously, if I wanted to get a cheap layout, if now Amazon might do it anyways, right? It still helps them, because every VP and CEO needs insurance because they're all getting pot shotted by their employees, right? Give me my paycheck, Gassy. Where's my paycheck? My money? I'm not saying you're all bad. I'm just saying it does feel like it. That's why there's people like Tim Breckner, right? I think one of the UWV professors. I think one of those guys retired, right? Whoever taught at 507. It was like, used to be the VP of, it was like Microsoft or something. Right? There's a reason why. Because all the employees, I think anytime you say something, they feel like, oh, your word is law. Like, oh, it's Tim, right? Tim is the credible one. No, he doesn't need that. No one wants that. Just say you came up with the idea yourself. You see what's wrong with society? They play it too safe. Right? They don't take any risk whatsoever. Yeah, look, if you can't, that's what people go to school. They want that kind of security where they can just MOA citation someone from someone higher up, right? So when you don't go to the school system, you don't do that. You have to actually produce something that they need the most. You don't have to do that for school. You can barter them down with a degree. This is why I don't complain about any job given in the corporation, because I don't need to run that paperwork. Now, the moment I do run that, right, I am obviously running away. You don't need to do it. None of them do. None of them have to, like, figure out what your job lot storage for your company is. You don't have to do that in your supply chain. You just have to pair up with other college grads and just figure out how to game the system and use, like, Chegg. You can. Yes, you can. You can use Chegg to game the system, even when you work a corporate job. You don't have to try harder, right? There's a way to legitimately use Chegg and supply chain. There. It's just, You don't. It's so sad because people. So the very system they use, the games like they buy test answers, Chegg, Slater, just to get by. What that means when you use that is that you don't actually understand what's going on. That's not always true. But what college grads used to remember is, they have to restudy all this before they job hunt. They used to do that. Back when it first started. You used to remember the lie, the drawbacks. And no one does anymore. It didn't matter how high your GPA is. No, they don't do that anymore. So what they end up doing is they're surprised by how hard corporate work is. I don't complain about it. I'm just here to tell it like this. This is what happens. You just get company collapses. See, like that Boeing airplane crash. People don't really understand what's being taught. That's fine. Not judging, not saying anything. School has unreasonable deadlines. Like I said before, you have more leeway in salary negotiation. Right? We don't talk about that. I'm gonna go talk about it now. Because the system didn't shove me through. We'll talk about this. You have to do that. How else do you get past standardized curriculums? You guys have better ideas? But it presents issues because then you actually have to know what you're doing in the company. Right? It's also a test of how fast you adapt to stuff. Right? I don't know. So a lot of supply chain, the freight time, they should be looking at SKU storages, like of individual Amazon e-commerce sellers. They should be looking at various supply chain layouts. Well, I think they should if they're not already. I'm assuming the best. I'm just assuming the best case scenario. I hope that's what they're doing. Otherwise, we have Houston, we have a problem. Well, I don't blame them if they don't, because we're all gaming the system to get a job. It's okay. Everyone needs money to live, and no one wants to be a business owner, neither do I. You have no idea how much I've avidly avoided starting business my whole life. I'd rather get some security. Every other CEO wants security too. Trust me. I'll tell you, here's the one thing I never wanted to do whenever I see a career fair. And one of the things I did, let's say Cambia Solutions Health, they came by. Here's what I would have done if I actually wanted a job right away. I would have said, hey, give me some time with the CEO. I promise to start a business for him. I never wanted to do that. I would never want. I was like, well, I got my actuarial science degree. I don't have to do that whatsoever. Yeah, I would have never done that because the moment you do that, you're expected to do stuff. It doesn't matter how well you do in school. I'll split the profits with. That is how you get. Yeah. You get flexible compensation options. I didn't want to do that back in Central. That just sounds like. That sounds dangerous. I tried avoiding that. I was literally in my head. I was like, there's no way people are going to hire her actually. They're literally trying to sniff something else right now. We got Domino's Pizza. They gave so many hints that the insurance room was collapsing, right? Right? The dominoes are falling. If they do that a lot every day, they're giving you a lot of hints. That explains why the actuarial science firms are not really hiring, and they have an insane amount of entrance exam requirements. If they're serving you Domino's Pizza every time they come, they're trying to tell you something. I know what they're trying to tell you. I avidly tried ignoring that. No one took the hit when I was there. I didn't care. I planned to make bank for the first 10 years and then quietly flee away. No, you don't. These jobs don't last. Seriously. Look at this. Nationwide, TIAA-CREF, USAA, Herbalife Alliance, Chubb. Seriously, when these people came, now if it was Pizza Hut, that's different, right? Let's go to a hut and let's discuss. But they've been giving Domino's pizza, I could be wrong, every day. And I know there were so many signs they were going to collapse. That's why the entrance exams are so high, because all the college grads have been ignoring that indirect communication. I know, but the thing is, I want my pot of gold too. Why can't we all game the system? I'm entitled to too, right? Well, now that I can't game it, I might as well provide something more legitimate, which is the truth. That I think is the truth. Oh, no. When you get hired, feel free to complain to HR. That's fine. I am right on with you, buddy. Oh, seriously. It's fine, but you need to provide a service at the end. For one, I would never complain, of course. I'm not one of those people. You ever wonder why I'm quiet? Because if I talk, it's just going to be a complaint coming out of my mouth. I'm very diplomatic. I know when it's better to just be quiet. I'm always trying to think about how to think, because like I come from at this point, it's a single mother house. Right, they just criticize my hair, so I got to be really careful. I've got bombs everywhere. Talk to people like me. I definitely have issues with it. I'm okay with throwing money at certain friends. You know, offers on there. Right? So, a Deco Group. So, if you're wondering, let's see how many exams there are. They've been doing the Domino's pizza routine for... So, ever wonder why the underwriter jobs went to the way of the high school route? Well, out of the high school route to the college? Because they've been selling Domino's pizza for the last decade, and everyone ignored the signs, right? They wanted people to start business for them, to protect the CEOs. People who work there have always known they just lie about the financials. You know, it's the world of finance. It's the world of Chegg. It's the world of Slater. It's the world of Course Hero. It's the world of I bet buy test scores. You can't. You can't. That doesn't mean they're not smart. The smart people don't have to do moral things all the time. I'm not saying it happened. I'm just saying I suspect it. Why wouldn't you? You're not really paid that much. Seriously. People complain a lot on HR. 72K is not that high, guys. Do a better job, I don't know, Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos. I like to list the other people, but the other CEOs seem to hide. Bill seems front and center to be the nice guy. I kind of need to go find someone else. And the other CEOs, I literally can't find on a map. I don't even know if they're the legit ones. Who's this guy? Let's see if he's on LinkedIn. I don't know if that's the actual CEO. I can't tell. I know Bill Gates was once the legitimate CEO of Microsoft. That's all I know. I don't know about the others. Everything's so shifty over in the actuarial line of actuarial finance to a company. Bill might take his advice and disappear too. Take their advice, just fade. Right? Corino Repulse, is that the legitimate? I don't know. What is going on in LinkedIn? I don't know what's going on. I was up or down half the time, but I'm dropping. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Anyways, yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna be doing do more sketches of cycle inventory, so I have more stuff to talk about. Seasonal safety. It's very easy to read this stuff. I literally spent like 10 minutes just scrabbling whatever, like 18 pages, 16. I literally could just go scroll through this, right? And let's see. I literally will say. So, anyways, let's go for a little more examples and end the podcast soon. So, let's look at some raw materials. Outerwear Mall, Amazon. Amazon's been trying to build shopping malls for a while, right? Let's look at some raw materials. Let's go on LinkedIn. People think you just draw up some. No, don't draw difficult charts. Just go have a conversation. Then we can start talking about bar charts. Lots of money. Hey, I'm broke. Here are some resources. Don't need cash necessarily. There's some Amazon e-commerce sellers, right? That's the world of a functional corporation, in my opinion. Right? People used to do that to get hired. Right? They don't want to do that anymore. It's very hard to actually think of a virtual integration email marketing strategy. Right? They used to do that to get hired at a big company. Now they don't want to do that anymore. That's a little pay, like supply chain, 50 grand a year. Are you kidding me? That's being shorted. I'm worth way more. I am not trying to make fun of people. It's just, you know, trying to be mature. Right? Supply chain, 31K to 70K. It's just very low. It's a legitimate conversation. But at the same time, you're hired to do your job. And of course, I'm hoping everyone does what they're supposed to do for the company. Why do I have to discuss this? Because things don't seem to be working in politics these days, and that's a reflection of the state of the economy and their unemployment numbers. Right? Transportation company. Go maybe borrow some resources from Outerwood, see what the profit splits are. They're always looking at long run, right? Amazon's bankrupt, maybe a new opportunity can rise. You gotta have a little bit of that. This is why I talk about the arts, because you gotta have a little bit of artsy, risk-taking background when the company feels when it's down, right? Now the CEO might be passive-aggressive, be like, here's some Domino's pizza. Oh god, it took me like literally 4 years to figure this out, because I didn't want to talk about it. I always had a dreadful feeling. Now I know why. I wanted to just mask that thought of, is this firm in the danger of collapse in my head? Right? Go ask about independent retailers, right? We want to look for some fragmented, fast-moving markets. I'm sure Outerwood Mall, maybe, I'm just almost, now you don't have to talk Outerwood Mall specifically, but you may want to borrow materials elsewhere. Just look around. I don't know. There's always a bunch of shady trucking companies out there that are both the independent distributor, retailer, and manufacturing company. And you know, people know what, no one's telling the truth these days. I'm not saying no one, but you know, there's a lot of people being really shifty these days. Hey, I saw Kevin Logan Jr. What are you doing, buddy? Kevin is used to work for Amazon. Now he's supposedly a director of recruiting at NHP Talent Consulting. He's career development coaching. Versus Amazon experience. He used to really love Amazon. I don't know where it is right now. Where are you, Amazon? Sorry, people. You don't have to do a nasty call out. Just saying. You used to be Amazon's biggest fan. What happened to him? Huh. It's at the bottom now. I wonder if that's a statement of what he thinks of the company. I'm not saying it, of course. Kevin is a very professional individual. Right? And there's no way you would possibly say, I'm not saying anything. I think he has good feelings, right? That's what I got. But it feels like when you read these, there's like something else being communicated. Maybe negative, maybe positive. Got this little nasty bellwether feeling. Kevin knows how to do his job, don't get me wrong. You just kind of have to do this stuff, right? You gotta... People part ways all the time. I'm so thankful. How do these people get jobs? I'm not saying they're not. Oh no, they did a lot of shifty stuff. Yeah, maybe consult Kevin Logan. Maybe he works for Nordstrom. I don't. Just figure out what independent trucking distributors are there. And you got friends, and maybe those friends can become allies, or ex-employees. Maybe they're your best friends. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna give you a legitimate list. So let's also think about cross-docking, right? All right, let's think about products that have to be unloaded by trucks, right? So you have one facility where all the trucks unload stuff, and they all go to separate facilities for different products in large quantities, right? So I don't know. Let's look at where some trouble comes from. Some of these may be selling retail items, right? Let's go look at this. Maybe. Let's look away from United Parcel Service. Now they may be shifty. I don't know. They may have like parts of the United Parcel Service that are named different companies, like Schneider. This is what I don't like about trucking companies. They're all shifty. They all think they're competing, or it appears like they're competing. There's no collusion. It might just be one company after all. I don't know. I have to look at their financials. It's not clear in theory. People just do stuff that they don't want to talk about. Schools don't teach. Right. Swift Transportation, let's say that. Let's say they're actually a branch of Walmart selling Walmart goods. Or they may have retail distributor by selling items on Walmart stuff on the Walmart e-commerce store. Don't they have their own? Or Amazon, right? You go ask. Ask down the list. This is a ridiculous example, of course. But if you're really broke, you're going to have to play these games, right? You're a supply chain guy, right? You need some marketing, right? You need some social media to pull this off. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying you may have to do that. Right? You're going to have to do this kind of stuff to get hired, and people don't want to continue doing this stuff either, right? Trick is to not do that. Right. So, anyways, and you want to look for truckers that are suppliers. They can unload and then give supplies out, right, in large quantities. That way, the processing speed for cross-docking goes exponentially faster. Which I don't know. Now, if you talk to the supplier, you get the job lot storage, right? Like the types of jobs that can be filled up to fulfill the needs of the customer, right? As I understand it, right? Right? Because different jobs are required to create a product to satisfy the customer. And keep your SKU storage, your stock inventory unit. Okay, that inventory, see, I like the term they're using. You got to use cycle, safety, and seasonal. Keep track of your cycle, safety, and seasonal inventory. Got to make sure like items aren't mysterious, misplaced, lost, stolen, or damaged, right? Due to mysterious weather circumstances. Right? Of course, you need cycle inventory at the same time. Right? You always need cycle inventory. That's your normal inventory. How much you expect to produce, depending on how many customers you attract. Now, when you start out, you don't really have safety or seasonal. You just have cycle. People in supply chain got hired. They used to know that, or they know that. They just don't want to play these games anymore. If you know what I mean, right? So, my guess is when a supply chain guy gets hired, they do the sell me this pen gimmick to get the job for a Fortune 500 company. Yeah. Right, they don't think they're paying enough. So here's my cycle inventory. Here's how I start my business. Here's my SKUs, job lot, cross-stock. Right, and we got to think about the location, right? That affects your transportation, the types of transportation you receive, right? If your company's on sea, you may only get something by ship, right? You got to really think about it. You can't get rail, pipelines, trucks, airplanes, or electronic transport. We don't know. Right, I'll end this right now. This is a very, very long topic. Well, this is I'm not even on the entirety of the first chapter yet. So if anyone asks, you actually can do a video on any subject or understand any topic, or I suspect anyways. I'm just reading the first chapter. There's cheat codes to sell yourself anyways. I suspect if you can sell yourself, you can probably understand the whole book, no problem. At least get work to a C plus understanding quickly without really deeply diving into the topic. You don't really need to. And that's once you know how to do that to that level, you can start deeply understanding if you want. This concludes my podcast. I hope you all have a great day, whoever is watching this.